On this day in 1895, Irish author and playwright Oscar Wilde was arrested for gross indecency, or, as we would say today, for being queer. What led to this point, and how did he fare in the trial? Well, I should begin by saying that Oscar had a wife called Constance and they had 2 children together. But in the summer of 1891, Oscar had met a poet called Lord Alfred Douglas, known as Bosie. Bosie was 22 and Oscar was 38. The two became, as historians put it, very close friends, going on dates, staying at hotels, writing love letters, all the stuff that good friends do. The problem was that Bosie's dad, the Marquess of Queensberry, had figured out what was going on between the two of them, and he didn't like it one bit. He was a mentally imbalanced Scottish nobleman, which is a terrifying string of words to put together. He threatened to disown his son. He went around to restaurants telling them to not allow the pair to dine together. He even planned on disrupting the opening night of Oscar's new play, The Importance of Being Earnest. Now, Oscar had caught wind of this plan, so he got the police to stop Queensberry from coming into the theatre. So Queensberry just prowled around the entrance, muttering for 3 hours before going home. Standard angry dad stuff. Queensberry also left a note for Oscar at the social club that he and his wife were members of, the Albemarle in Mayfair. The note said, "To Oscar Wilde, posing as a sodomite." Oscar didn't pick this note up until 10 days later, and what Queensberry had essentially done was out Oscar as gay in public, which was illegal at the time. Oscar's friends advised him to just leave it, but he'd had enough of Queensberry's constant aggression, so he decided to sue him for libel. What a mistake. See, the only way that Queensberry could get off a libel charge was to prove that Oscar was gay, or had at least done some gay stuff. And that wasn't too hard because Oscar had spent a lot of time with a lot of young men. At the libel trial, Oscar began by lying about his age, saying that he was 39 when he was actually 41. Not a great start. He was initially fairly confident, but when statements from a range of young men were produced saying that they had been with Oscar, he began to realise the gravity of the situation. He left the courthouse that night and his friends urged him to flee to France. He dithered over the decision whether to stay or whether to go for too long until the last transport had gone and the arrest warrant had been issued. The libel case was dropped and he was arrested and put on trial for 25 counts of gross indecency. The jury was hung, so Oscar was released on bail, and then he had to go through it all a second time, where he was sentenced to 2 years of hard labour. He was kept at Newgate Prison first, then Pentonville Prison, and then he got transferred to Reading Jail. He had to travel by train to Reading, and people jeered and spat at him on the platform at Clapham Junction. We've all been there. The day that he was released from prison, he left for France and he never returned to the UK. He had no money, his health had declined whilst he was in prison, and his wife wouldn't see him, nor would she let him see their children. He died of meningitis in a hotel room in Paris in November 1900 at the age of 46. He received a posthumous pardon in 2017 under what has been dubbed the Alan Turing Law, and I am sure that was a great comfort to him. It's just so sad, the misery that these laws have brought on people, isn't it? I'm glad that people have got a chance of being their more authentic selves these days. I know that we've got a long way to go, but at least we're making the right moves. Thank you so much for watching. Why not subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.